Hello and welcome to another episode of Trails into Reverie. I planned to have a video mainly about the Reverie corridors, but then stuff happens and the end of Act 3 was kind of intense. So I'm now talking about that first. I will explain the end, not show it, since I don't want to spoil too much. We get the conclusion of all three paths of Act 3. These paths is wrapping up nice and clean with some hints of Nadia's and Sven's background and upbringing, a rather easy boss fight and some nice character developments with the fresh cast we have here. All in all, that was great. Lloyd and his group get the strongest boss of the three with way too much health, although if you keep burn immunity equipped it's easily manageable. After our win and a short cutscene we need to run through corridors against the ticking clock. The final sequence has a little over-the-top bike stunt with Noel that comes out of nowhere and maybe was a bit much, but kind of cool, and we learn Noel being here isn't completely by chance, you know, good writing. Then there's the end of Rean's Act 3, which started out fine. We also get the boss fight with the equally too healthy boss, and I'm actually not too interested in hitting something for 50 minutes that showed me all he got in 2. So this boss wasn't quite it. My preferences aside, this boss is on the easy side. Compared to this, Lloyd was a real difficulty spike. Up to this point I was an Act 3 fan. We see afterwards an event happened aside the boss fight. Olivier and Scheherazade start their grand escape and we lose a huge opportunity here. While Olivier shows a hidden gun which she can use to fight, Scheherazade gets completely sidelined, even though she mentioned she could use her orbital gear for arts and assist him. They could have her find a whip somewhere after 1 or 2 fights, but no, we have her next to Olivier, but she is not playable. She can give her battle order though. Kind of annoying to be frank. We then have Rean's group use Emma's short-range teleport to get on the now found Courageous and finish off the rest of the enemy, with Scheherazade still sentenced to be the most inactive A-rank bracer in history. After that, we get some cutscenes about the automated Erebonian and Calvert units trying to attack each other to give reason to reignite the war. Our heroes splitting off and trying to stop that and finding the remote control device that controls these units. We then get a scripted win for Rean against the now weakened Act boss, and I mean scripted. I haven't equipped Rean since the one time I needed to use him in Heimdall. He was completely inactive since then and his quartz and equip last season. But it wasn't even hard to win this, followed by some Dragon Ball-esque sequence that had me facepalming. Seeing Rean finishing off his opponent, and after fiddling with the remote control doohickey, the machines are stopped. From this point on, the writers dropped the ball. Victory was short-lived, since Muse points out that all this was way too easy for such a complicated plan, and something must have been missed. Sarah, who sorted out another region, mentions a BFG pointing at the Nord settlement that will now get blasted and nothing can stop that. Now, let's pause for a moment and revel in this bad writing that always happens when the writers, the same writers who were able to give us quality storytelling with Trails in the Sky and Zero to Azure, try to push the agenda that Rean is more than a useless MacGuffin. The settlement was already, for the most part, empty, since they were relocating at that time. It also would have been the first thing in the line of fire if our heroes wouldn't have stopped the automated war machines. So instead of evacuating the site, which would be the reasonable decision that could have been articulated by a number of people, we do no such thing. Sarah, who as a bracer should put civilians first, could have stood up and say, oh, we should evacuate. Muse, the strategic genius, Olivier, who also shown time and again he is thinking ahead, and General Le Guin, who has enough experience to make that call. Also, the base of operation could have been the military border fortress, the Courageous, the surveillance tower, the Megaba that Gaius actually had around but wasn't using until now. It didn't need to be the almost empty settlement. Anyway, stupid as it is, this event that shouldn't have an impact whatsoever triggers Rean to get desperate, call out for his post-Valimar mech Tirfing, which actually works like it was Valimar, and since the Reverie Court talked about an anomaly, this is obviously part of it. Stops the projectile with his mech katana, and shortly after that all hell breaks loose. With some white iron going ham, pushing Courageous and Macabre out of the sky, and both are saved by the holy beasts Zeit and Rosalie. Fun fact as a side note, Zeit is not the holy beast of time but Mirage. How funny is that? The whole sequence was so overblown and over the top, all that was missing was Cassius Bright riding Ragnar into the white iron. But while it seemed a bit too much, they wanted to show there was far more going on than just some well-organized military troops in Crossbell. What really got me is the author crying at the top of his lung, "See, Rean is the chosen one, the messiahs. The last time that trope was used and worked out was the first Matrix movie. Ever since then, it was just a tired cliché. Could still have worked if the setup for this wasn't this sloppy. Well, after the sequence, I needed a short break."
Fishy! I get an A+ for fishing this one out.
Yeah, fishing, that's relaxing. Even the editing for my last video was delayed because of this. I really was getting into the game and started to really enjoy it. And BAM! Not only reminded of Rean's existence, also getting full Jesus Rean in your face. And all that while I was thinking. The game shouldn't have Rean as a protagonist at all. They should have taken another page from Trails in the Sky 3 and used Claire as the protagonist. Change the start slightly, cut out the Chosen One crap and have a fresh perspective from the eyes of a character that has so much potential and we didn't see too much from. On that note, Lloyd could also have been switched out. Wixia or Noel come to mind, and we could change the script a little to get something new here too. Just to talk about missed opportunities. Missed opportunities like making Scheherazade playable in that sequence. Anyway, this is more a rant than me talking about the game, I'm sorry. My plan is still to have a closer look at the Reverie corridors itself. Until then, bye bye.
Oh, bye, Fishy.